Hello and welcome to Things Should Know, the show where we listen, learn and grow. The TSK show is where teenagers are empowered with the right knowledge to thrive and parents are equipped with the tools to guide them, because when teenagers know better, they will definitely do better. My name is Ifoma the Prof Mwato and I'm your host on the TSK show. So today we are looking at a very important conversation. Today's conversation is one that breaks the stereotypes, shatters silence and goes deeper than the headlines, because substance abuse doesn't always look like you expect. It doesn't only affect the rebellious kids, not the ones who skip school or act out. Sometimes it's just that quiet child, the higher achiever, the one who looks like they have it all together, but behind the smiles and the strong front, many teenagers are silently struggling, and substance use may become a way to cope, become a way to escape, to feel in control, or simply to belong. So today we ask, what does drug use really look like in today's teenagers' world? Why are even the good kids getting caught up in it? Because most times we think it's only the bad kids. And most importantly, what can we do about it? Because this issue is becoming a concern. So today we are looking at the hidden face of substance abuse, not just the bad kids. So joining me today is a special guest, a powerful advocate and voice in the fight against drug abuse, who has seen firsthand how deep this issue runs and how healing can take place. So stay with us. This episode might change the way you see the teenagers' world. We'll go on a short break, and once we get back, we will introduce him. Don't go anywhere.
We are local.
We are right now with the wife of the man that was
Why the main market is in chaos. People are
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye.
we have taken the bill by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Welcome back, and we are meeting our guest right away, Mr. David Folaromi, who is substance use prevention, treatment and recovery practitioner. I am personally excited to have him on this show, and I've been wanting to have him on this show because he's not just a voice, he's an authority in this field. And today we are going to learn a lot from him, not just the teenagers, but the parents and everybody who is concerned about the young people and who is a change agent in the society, because what we need now is social reformation, not just for the teenagers, even the adults. So sit back, let's begin this conversation. Welcome, Mr. David.
Thank you very much for having me.
I'm so glad to have you here.
The pleasure is mine.
Thank you for coming. I know you've been very busy, so pulling you out from your busy schedules, I feel honored to have you on this show. So let's begin with the big myth that, why do you think people still believe substance abuse only happens to bad kids? Because I remember when I was in secondary school, there's this debate we had. It said juvenile delinquency, that poverty is the cause of juvenile delinquency. So now we are looking at, sometimes when we talk about substance abuse, people think it's children in the ghetto, the barrel pushers in Holy Ghost, people who don't have life. So what do you think about this?
Thank you very much. This is an interesting topic, and I've had a lot of people ask me similar questions. Is it the bad boys and the bad girls that use substances? And the answer is always no.
Okay.
It's not. It spreads across young persons from all walks of life. It's not a respecter of religion or tribe. Neither is it a respecter of how you have been brought up. I'll buttress this with a short story. I hope you don't mind.
Yes.
Last year I was in a conference for teenagers, for teenage handlers. And then my phone kept ringing, and my PA was beckoning to me that, sir, it's an important call. I went to take the call, and then it was a mother who was frantically crying and asking me to help her. That her daughter, 16-year-old, is missing. I said to her, if your daughter is missing, why don't you call the police? She said, no, this is a drug case. and somebody referred you to me, said you're the go-to guy. I said, okay, give me some background information. She said her younger son said whenever they close from school, they go through a particular place. The sister will tell the brother to wait for her outside. She will go inside, and according to the brother, whenever she comes out, she looks drowsy, her eyes are red, she's staggering, and by the time they are getting to the house, she has passed out. But the brother has never had the guts to tell the parents. So now she went to school alone, and she didn't come back, and the brother feels like that's the place she's in. So I picked up one or two of my staff, and we went to the area. Now, that place is a market in Enugu State. I just don't want to call the name. Yes, okay. So it's a market. And then I went there, started showing people the picture, because I work with people who use drugs. So even the people who sell, they know me. Okay. And then someone said to me, she's inside so place. So I went there and I showed the person at the door. She said, yes, she came here 3 days ago. 3 days. And she has used so much drugs, she now has a debt of 180,000. Jesus. I said, that's no problem. I'm going to pay for it. My job here is to take her back home to her parents. And then I went in, and when I went to see where she was stone cold passed out. And then the first thing that caught my attention was her school uniform, which she was still wearing. And it's a Christian school. Wow. So you see, that's not a bad child. For a parent to put a child in that sort of school, that means they brought her up in some, degree of morals. So we tried to resuscitate her. And the funnier thing happened, she started begging me not to take her away from there. Yes, because she had gotten so hooked on the substance. I called the mother, put it on speakerphone. The mother was crying, speaking to her in Igbo language, begging her to come. So we made the payment for what she was owed. We took her to the hospital, and then the police was there. The mother came, the pastor came from her church, and you could see she comes from a very good home. And the policeman said something. He said, how can you from a Christian home be doing drugs? And I had to educate him that it's not only for the bad boys. It cuts across everybody. So yes, just to answer your question, it's not just it's a myth that it's only the so-called bad boys or bad girls that do drugs. It cuts across everybody.
This is really a huge one. A debt of 180,000 in 3 days. Oh. So, Mr. David, what are some emotional or social pressures that drive even the high-performing or well-behaved teens towards drug abuse or substance?
So, you've already said one, the high-performing. That high performance is pressure. Now, I was with a very good friend of mine who is a boys coach. I'm sure a lot of us know him. He's a foremost boys coach. And we're together that day, and a call came into his phone, and it was the mother of a young boy, and the mother was complaining that the boy is coming 6th position. How can he be coming 6th position? That's pressure. That's pressure from the home. I mean, if you're coming 6th position, you're doing well. You're doing very well. Yeah. But then most parents want you to do well because of them, not because of you. So they're more interested in saying my son came first.
Not about the child, but because of them.
So that's already pressure. So that young boy is already feeling, so mommy does not even appreciate the fact that I put in my efforts to come 6th position. Rather, she's saying, what have I even done? Why didn't I come first? So that sort of young boy goes to school and somebody says, why don't you smoke this? It will make you move from 6th to 1st. Yeah, that's how it happens. We've seen a lot of cases where people will say, you want to be able to assimilate more. Why don't you use XYZ sort of substance? And then they give in, they break into that pressure. And then they start using. Another problem might be a lack of know-how when it comes to problem-solving skills. A lot of parents solve all the problems for their children. And then when they are faced with real-life problems in the world out there, and there's no mommy or there's no daddy to solve that problem for them, they give in to substances. So these are some of the reasons why you see that they give into substances because of one thing or the other. Of course, there's also the glorification of substance use by the media and some of our celebrities, which has been a big problem for us.
Okay. Well, I will ask again. Many parents think maybe, this, oh, my child cannot do this, my child cannot do that. And I know that belief is actually very risky. And what should parents be paying closer attention to? Not just attention, closer attention to, because many parents act on assumptions.
That's true. A lot of parents, with devastating effects, actually act on assumptions and say, my child can't do this, my child can't do that. I'll give you a story. I like to share stories. It buttresses my points. A few months ago, a 14-year-old was brought to me to our facility, and the mother says he's acting somehow. So the moment he stepped into my office, my expertise told me that he was already on some level of substances. But the mother did not want to believe. Not him. He can't be him. I raised him in the church. I said, I was raised in the church. I was preaching by the age of 8. So it's not a criteria. You know, but the mother was so sure
that it can't be him.
It can't be. No, it's not. Something else is wrong with him. David, please talk to him. It's not drugs. So we ran a test on him, a toxicology test. And then it came back positive for tetrahydrocannabinoid. That's the primary component for marijuana. So I told the mother he's using marijuana. She said it's not possible. I said, but that's what the test says. I mean, it's scientific. You can't argue with it. And she was still in denial up to that point. We investigated a bit further and we found out that this young boy was given cakes, these muffins that was induced with substances, marijuana, you know, and then somebody in his school was selling it to them. Somebody in his school.
In the school.
In his school was selling it to them. And then that's how. So your question now, what are the things we need to look out for? There are some subtle signs we need to know. Because if you understand the telltale signs, most times you can nip it in the bud before it develops into a disorder, right? So some of these signs will include a personality change, you know, change of character, change of behavior. Somebody who used to be very lively has all of a sudden become withdrawn. Yes, that's something you need to look into. Change of friends, you know, the sort of people you used to know him with, he has changed. It's not those sort of people. Sometimes when the person is no more coordinated, you know, as a family, you're having dinner together, and then your son is just standing up. He goes to the kitchen, he comes like, you know, he does this. You know, I mean, it's something to look out for. When they start covering their whole bodies, we had the case of a young lady who, I was sharing this at the program yesterday. The mother said she just all of a sudden started wearing jalabia at night in the house. Oh, you're not an alaja now. Why are you wearing jalabia? Only for us to find out that she had been injecting herself.
Oh.
So she had to use long clothes to cover. Then when they start using excessive perfume or cologne in their house, they are covering something. Red eyes, dilated pupils. Even though right now some of them have ways to turn the eyes back white after smoking. You know, they always want to find a way to be one step ahead. Yes, excessive weight gain or weight loss. Yes. Sometimes you find out that your teenagers are eating at night, dead hours of the night, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Yes, because it increases appetite. Certain drugs increase appetite. In school, they start having their grades start reducing. You should look into it. They start having problems with the law. Look into it. They start having money problems. Every time, mommy, I need this. I need 20,000. I need 10,000. I need this. I need that. You need to look into it. Also, when you start finding out that they have drug paraphernalia with them, Rizlas, lighters, crushers, some of these things should tell you that they've started dabbling into substances. Interestingly, when they also start avoiding the talk about substance use, I believe we'll come to that. When the family is talking about substance use and somebody doesn't want to talk about it, look closely at that person. Or when the person starts making excuses, marijuana is a tree, it's a plant, it's God that created it, then there's usually a problem. So these are some of the signs experience we need to look out for that would help us nip it in the bud so that you can get the help that they need and it doesn't develop into a disorder.
Okay, so how can a parent respond if they discover their teen is already experimenting, not with fear or punishment, but in a way that invites healing and change?
Yeah, so that's first aider response. Okay. You must make sure that you don't speak to them judgmentally. Okay. Once you're judgmental, they know. They can sense it. They have that sixth sense. You know, so you should also listen, not just to verbal conversations, but other subtle signs. You know, sometimes our teenagers are crying out for help. I always say this, but we're too busy to notice these little signs that they're giving to us that they need help. So if you find out that he or she might have started using, do not get apprehensive. Don't start shouting. Don't start saying, my village people have finally, my village people have finally caught me. No, you're just going to lose that person. Then you just let the person know that he or she is better than that, and that you're not mad at him or her, and that you're willing to help him through coming out of it. After you're able to do that, then reach out for professional help. There are licensed, certified psychologists, therapists that you can reach out
And you're
to.
one of them.
By the grace of God,
Yeah.
that you can help them. That will help them come out.
All right. Wow. What we've heard so far is eye-opening, and honestly, it should make every one of us pause. Because substance abuse doesn't come with a certain look. It doesn't always come with obvious signs. It can live quietly behind perfect grace, polite smiles, and seemingly normal things. And while many of us are quick to say, not my child, the truth is we can't afford to parent with blind spots, because when we assume it can't happen, we stop paying attention. But here's the good news. Connection can change everything. When teenagers feel safe to speak, when families create room for honest conversations, the cycle can be broken and lives can be rebuilt. So after the break, we'll be shifting into something deeply important, and that is how we empower teens and parents to rise above pressure, to rise above shame and silence, and move towards healing and strength. So we're going to take a short break. When we return, we'll go into the second part of our conversation. Please don't go anywhere.
We are local.
We are right now with the wife of the man that was
Why the main market is in chaos. People are
We are national.
Those in support of this motion and the mandate say aye.
we have taken the bill by the
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
All right, we are back, and because we took a quick break, just enough time for us to breathe and not to panic, because I know some people, you're wondering, is my child doing this? Oh, what should I look out for? Oh, I hope I'm not living in denial all this while. Calm down. Just take water. Calm down, okay? So our guest is still here, and if you're just joining us, we are looking at the hidden face of substance abuse, not just the bad kids, with my special guest, Mr. David. He has been sharing a whole lot with us. So now we are going to switch gears a little. We've talked about the problems. Let's talk about power, how things can take it back, and how parents can help without freaking out. So, Mr. David, what words of encouragement will you give to a teenager who is already stuck in substance use, and who is like feeling ashamed or afraid to speak?
Okay, so first of all, for every teenager who is listening, and for every adult too who might be listening, I want you to know that substance use is not a death sentence, right? It's not a death sentence. I'm a living testimony.
Okay.
I struggled with substance use for 7 years.
Wow.
In that period, I lost 4 of my friends.
4.
Yes, 4 of my friends, including one who was my classmate in Covenant University. So, by the grace of God, I was able to come out of it, turn my life around, and now I'm helping others to come out of it. And to be honest, I've seen people who have had terrible situations turn it around, come out of it, and they're doing extremely well now. So to everybody who is listening to me, who might be struggling with one form of substance use or the other, the first thing I need for you to know is that it is not the end of the world. It's not a death sentence. You don't have to die in it. You can come out of it. You can take back all that you have lost. You can recover, overtake, and do something meaningful with your life. That's the first thing I want to say. The second thing is closely related. You can't do it on your own. You have to cry out to get out.
Cry out to get out.
Yes, you have to cry out to get out. Addiction thrives in secrecy. So the more you hide it, the bigger it grows. So you say, I don't want to tell my sister, I don't want to tell my brother, I don't want to tell mommy, I don't want to tell daddy. You keep hiding and doing it, and then it keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So you must speak to somebody. You must cry out. You must say, look, I have a problem and I need help. And then help will be provided to you. So first of all, it's not a death sentence. There's help available, but you need to cry out for that help so that you can get it.
Okay. So if a parent is watching and the parent have a teenager or a child that is already struggling with abuse, and this parent is trying to rebuild trust, maybe they have made mistakes in the past, followed it up the wrong way, maybe punishment and all of that. So what is the person meant to do?
That's for the parents now.
Yes.
So for the parents, you have to, first of all, you have to understand that it's not don't blame yourself. I've seen too many parents blame themselves and say, oh, this is my fault. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I should have done it this way. And they get angry with themselves. And that's not the major issue. The major issue is your son or your daughter who urgently needs help. So you can't spend too much time blaming or beating yourself up. So first of all, forgive yourself for whatever it is you think you may have done wrong. And then now try to correct that wrong by doing right by your child. Again, you just have to make sure you direct him or her towards professional help. Look for people who have certified track records of success. You know, it's not just a matter about taking somebody to rehab and just saying you're going to dump somebody there, which is another problem a lot of parents have. You just take your child and dump him somewhere. Some rehabilitation facilities are not suited for the needs of particular children. So do your due diligence, find out where can work for your child and take them there to get the help they need.
Oh, wow. Today's conversation has been so real, so honest. Are you a teenager feeling lost, pressured, overwhelmed? You are not alone and you don't have to stay stuck. That is what we are talking about today. Help is real. Reach out. We are here to listen and guide, no judgment. We listen, we don't judge.
Yes.
So if you're a parent and if today made you think twice, that's a good start. Don't wait for things to get out of hand. Support is closer than you think. So I have Mr. David here. So he's going to share his social media handles, if possible, his contact, so you can reach out to him and get help. Because I know some people listening to us are now asking, how do I get to this Mr. David? I think maybe he will help me. So how do we reach
Okay,
to you?
thank you very much. My social media handles at David Folaromi, at David Folaromi. For our rehabilitation center, it's at Live Free Renewal Center. Live Free Renewal Center. The contact number is 0909 389 9406. 0909 389 9406.
Okay, thank you so much,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
David, for
Thank
coming
you.
to the show.
Thank you for
and thank
having
you
me.
for sharing your depth of experience
Thank
and
you.
wisdom with us on this show today. Remember, my name is Ifoma the Prof Mwato, and I'm your host on the TSK show, and we'll always be here to help you thrive. This is the TSK show on Signature TV. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, download the Signature TV app on Google Store, or watch us on SLTV Channel 265. We don't thrive by hiding. He said, you cry out to get out. So we thrive by healing, and healing begins with honest conversations like the one we just had today. Remember, knowledge is power. You have been empowered with the right knowledge to thrive. So keep learning, keep growing, and keep showing up for yourself. See you next week, same time on the TSK show. Thanks for watching. Thrive.